Team disqualified. Your team has been disqualified from a recent tournament due to one or more team members being disqualified. Any rewards earned by this team have been removed. That's right, I've been disqualified from FNCS Qualifier Week 1. How this happened, I am not sure, but I'm going to flash you back to the start of the FNCS tournament. If you've been following my road to FNCS, you'll know that my goal was just simply to play a single game of the FNCS tournament. Now, I was really close to making this goal come true. I was in Champion League, I had a trio, and a week before the tournament actually was meant to start, I got dropped from the trio. It wasn't working out, so I was trioless for an entire week. FNCS rolls around at 6 PM Friday UK time, and I'm still trioless. Then 6:15, I'm still trioless. I'm now frantically looking on every Discord server I can to try and find anyone that I can play with. By 6:30, I managed to scramble together a random team I've never met before and just join them up and go straight into FNCS. Bearing in mind this is the first game I've played all day, I didn't have any warm-up or any preparation or even know their names or anything. I went straight away into FNCS, not knowing anything about them or having any warm-up or practice beforehand. So I'm going to break down what went well and what didn't go so well in each one of my games. Now, we did play out all 10 games, and some of these games didn't actually record properly, so I had to go back in replay mode to get the recordings. But I have got all 10 games recorded now, so let's get into it. Before we get fully into the video, I want to remind you guys to use code Ripire in the item shop. It is the best and most direct way to support the channel, as I am an Epic Games affiliate. Now, let's get back into the FNCS breakdown. So game 1 we went over to Slurpy Swamp. We never really knew where to land because we'd never played together before, so we landed Slurpy to try and get a high elim game off spawn. Now we actually picked up quite a few elims off spawn, and although I didn't actually secure any of the kills, due to my really good communication I was able to help support my team massively, and the reason I didn't get a lot of kills is because I normally get them down to 1 HP, and because of my great communication, the other teammate will just rush over and get the last tag. But I'm okay with that because I don't care if they get the kill or I get the kill, because in the end of the day, it's a group effort.
Nice. Guys, go tight.
Following you up.
Got like no builds.
We got high.
On me.
Coming down.
Shit.
40, cracked to one.
Nice.
60 white, 60 white.
One shot. Got him.
Nice. Ending. Needs ammo.
Nice.
On me! One shot!
20. Rex. Got him.
Good guys, oh my.
So game 1 went pretty well. We actually got favoured really heavily as far as the zone goes, so I'm going to leave you guys with this end game. And basically the only thing I could take away from this was better communication when Apex was placing bouncers. He didn't really ever call out where he was placing them or where to bounce to, so it's kind of hard to follow him, but either way, I hope you guys enjoy this end game.
Tuck.
Yeah, bounce.
Give me 2
I have a
bounces.
foot.
Or 3, I don't know. Nice. Right.
Rip fire.
Follow me.
Rip. I got shield switch. Rip.
Nice. Thank you. Keep going.
Get high. Guys, get on high. Guys, everyone get on high and connect to me.
I'm with you.
Hey, guys. Bring him down, they're second high. I got him down. Nice.
Another team here. Open those. 30 on him.
Look guys, look back on these shits. Down here. Through them. Nice.
Confirm it.
Try and go for a refresh maybe. Guys, follow me.
I've only got 14 bullets.
Wait, there's stuff. You can get that.
Right behind you.
I got all of it.
30 on him. 50. Cracked on him.
Nice, guys, get to height. No, someone took it off me.
I'll go up.
I'm
with you
healing.
guys.
It's fine. Someone took it off me.
Regroup.
Guys, mats. I need wooden brick again.
I have
He's on
nothing.
my
I
wood.
have phone.
He's on my wood.
I have nothing.
Go.
Follow me.
Yeah, go.
I got my kill.
Nice. Box it.
Yeah, I'm going down.
Right here, guys, on edge of zone. Right here. Crack.
30 white. Watch out for height.
Spray him.
It's going down.
On that wall.
Nice, keep going. Go up. 30 on him.
Nice, I'm over here, guys. One of you get to me. Guys, come on, can you guys get to me?
There's a guy on me, in my box.
Come here.
20 on him, 20 on him.
Spray.
Down. In here, he's in the zone,
19. Come here, talk. Pickaxe through.
I have no mats.
Keep head, you gotta pop that big. You're gonna die in zone,
Go. I'm dead. I'm just dead. Go.
No, you have to play it solo,
Try and dash to spawn. Try and dash storm.
I can't.
He's a solo. Nice, confirmed.
Bro.
You got second. It's a 1v3.
You got mats.
Nice. You got 300 mats, 300. One fell. You took so much fall damage. They're gonna knock you out. You haven't got to drop. You haven't got the materials. There's water there. There's water. No, unlucky. Great work. Game 2 was a lot better. We were less shambles. We had a colour coordinated outfit and we were all together straight away landing at Dirty Docks. Now this was a pretty good location because we had no one contest us, so we were able to loot up and then get into the end game very easily. Now we got super lucky by finding 2 llamas on our way into the zone. This was like incredible luck and we all had max materials and max heals. We were very kitted.
Yes, there's 2!
What the hell?
Is that a
Away,
llama?
bro.
Wait, I don't think it is. It is!
Yo,
Oh my god! There's one
my
there, yeah?
God.
And then there's another one. Oh my days!
Thanks to my leadership, we were able to pick a team off by the petrol station outside of Pleasant Park, relatively easy, branch into zone, and then secure ourselves some decent placement. Unfortunately, however, we made a really stupid mistake by following Apex's guidance and expanding a base out and over-editing, and then this caused us to get massively lobby focused, and we had no chance at trying to fight back. We got super heavy lobby focused here.
They're sitting in.
Watch out, there's an RPG.
Yeah, we're fine.
Oh my god!
Fine, heal.
They're spraying me.
You need to help me.
Run back. We should have just stayed secure, built a metal base, not over-edited, because the second someone sees an edited wall, they normally start pressuring it because they know it's weak. So it should have just stayed secure and waited for the next zone to come in, but instead we were messing around too much. We burnt through so many materials trying to not die here. We stayed together relatively well for the first moving zone, apart from when we got into the mess of builds, and then we sort of got very divided, and the pressure of the storm being on our back sort of made us play like 3 solos instead of 1 trio. This was then really annoying because we couldn't use each other's mats or even find each other to get kills. We sort of just went frantic AWOL. Now this is definitely my fault as well as everyone else's, because although I somehow managed to get away from a guy who was pressuring me using an accidental bouncer, I then had to use up all my other remaining bouncers and almost get beamed out the air just because we were so divided. My aim was to try and get reunited with the team, and I did so relatively well, and we stuck together for the rest of the end game.
Mats.
Watch out. We got to get through this somehow. Oh my god, there's so many of them all the way about mats. I'm live. I'm still trying to take it out. I'm going to play placement.
Oh my god, I think I'm dead.
What do you guys? Hey, break through this.
On me! He's low!
Cracks him! Nice! Cracks! One
No.
shot! Nice!
Oh, damn,
That's
8.
good.
Game 3 we went back to Dirty Docks and unfortunately got pressured off spawn, and unfortunately didn't pick up any kills here or any points at all. We just died off spawn, and to be honest the teamwork was really not there at all. We had no materials, we should have just retreated and backed off, but we stayed and fought anyway even though there was literally no points doing so. Game 4 we went over to Sweaty Sands and we managed to get out alive, pressuring this team that were just retreating back. They were really shambles as far as their teamwork. They were nowhere near each other, so they were relatively easy to kill. Nice. By the time the end game rolled around, we were actually looking pretty good. We had lots of hard mats, and this time I told them specifically not to over-edit or over-expand the base, so we could save our materials and not get lobby focused. Now where this game went wrong is where Apex placed the bouncer. So he was placing the bouncers most of this end game, and he placed it on a wall that I was actually about to edit through, so I couldn't see where he was trying to go to with it, and didn't give any instruction on where to land. So when I went to take the bouncer, it actually bounced me into an enemy's box, and I was able to get a 100 tag, but died immediately from a full trio just massacring me. It didn't really matter though, because I was able to coach my teammates and get us all the way to 2nd place.
Let's keep going, let's keep going.
Oh my god, what the hell?
I'll show you in. Yeah, Apex is good too.
Come here, come here.
That's it.
Pop in a big, pop in a big.
Okay.
Break up there, break up there, break up there.
Nice, you're capped on brick now, you're capped on brick, look.
You take it. Flip big.
No!
You got your shotgun, you got your
Pick it back up, that's it.
behind us.
Okay, I'm marking it
Behind
zone,
us,
marking
get
it zone. Over here. Hold them.
In the box.
Nice! Let's confirm, man, let's confirm. Breakthrough.
Cracked.
Nice. Keep ahead of the zone, keep ahead. Right there, underneath you guys.
Right.
Keep going. You're almost in.
My box. Dead.
Nice.
I'm low, God. I'm low, God.
RPG, I've got an RPG.
Okay, I got. I'm low.
You gotta get down, Apex.
I got some.
Where is this kid? I'm low, bro.
I'm really high. I've got good mats. I've literally got cat mats.
Yeah, you need to. Can you regroup? No, you won't be able to.
Oh.
Nice! Good work. End that.
On me.
Try and get his mats. Okay, don't worry.
I can.
Pop the choke.
Go.
Good.
Move.
Apex, you're gonna have to half max or something.
Yes.
Nice, good work. Keep going.
Kill him.
You gotta end that to live.
Nice.
Confirm. No!
Game 5 was dreadful in every way, to be honest. Apex didn't jump out the bus till the very end, so it was late landing, which is not what you want in FNCS, which meant that everyone else was also shambles because we couldn't land where we wanted to land, and then we got pushed off the spawn with a team just massacring us. None of us really had shotguns, so we just didn't have anything to fight back with, and it caused us to lose a game without getting a single point. Game 6 we went to the Shark and we were luckily uncontested. I say luckily because both my teammates didn't land with me, neither were talking, and Apex landed massively late again. The reason we were uncontested, even though it was a super hot drop, is because it's behind the bus and most people don't go behind the bus. It's a weird rule of thumb, but it works almost every time. What I've learned so far from playing with this duo in this FNCS tournament is that Apex has a really poor judgment of fighting mechanics. He doesn't know when to take a fight and when to back off. He'll overcommit massively and most of the time die before the rest of the team is even with him. As well as absolutely dreadful communication and all-round awful playing mechanics. I mean, I shouldn't have to be waiting for my teammates to land with me in FNCS. That shouldn't be a thing. That, oh, whoops, I forgot to jump out the bus in FNCS. That should never be a thing. But either way it was, and I had to deal with it because I had no one else. When the late game rolled around, we were on top of Coliseum, which allows us to have really good vantage points on top of other players. Getting tags in case of Storm Surge, as well as rotating in for the next zone, was really easy because of one simple bouncer. Unfortunately, however, Apex didn't tell anyone he was bouncering, nor where he was landing from the bouncer, so we were quite divided when rotating in. Although we were able to regroup, this could have ended really badly. When the first moving zone rolled around, it was actually a really good decision of mine to use the sand tunneling as a way to get to the next zone and not use any materials. This was then able to keep us secure underneath the sand as well as save materials for late game. Despite our best efforts on top of Coliseum, we were actually below the Storm Surge threshold, which meant we needed to get a good tag on someone or even kill someone to be above that. While sand tunneling, I noticed that the sand was about to run out, so I had to jump out of the sand soon, and as I saw this player that looked alone, I was then able to jump out of the sand and pressure him with a teammate to get the kill.
Dead!
Nice.
Run! We're getting sprayed.
Two snap picks.
No, get massacred, get massacred. Go drop, go drop.
Can you get... Guys, 6!
As you might be able to tell, there's a lot of miscommunication going on with screaming and complete gibberish, to be honest. So it was really hard to hear what was vital and what wasn't vital information. If we could try and clean that communication up, it would help us greatly in future. When rotating into the next zone, I didn't actually know what to do when I met an enemy. I was tunnel visioned so hard on getting to the next zone, I sort of panicked and just died. The others were actually hiding in zone, floppering off. No one told me that they were doing that either, so I would have been there with them otherwise. So then they rotated in together, but unfortunately both died.
Watch out,
I can match,
pinch
I
from
can
behind.
match.
Yeah, Turks got like nothing. Turks have done nothing. He needs half mats.
I'm low ground, low ground. Shit.
I'm with you.
Did he
Solo
match? Did he
player.
match?
Yeah, dropping mats, dropping mats.
Give me floppers, give me floppers. Give me floppers.
Go, just go.
Get my box.
Oh,
Nice.
By the time Game 7 had rolled around, I realised that we weren't actually going to be able to make all of our games in the time we were allotted. We only had half an hour at this point, still got 3 games left. It wasn't possible to get points out of each game that we had. So instead of going to our normal drop, we went over to Misty Meadows to try and pick up some early limbs, and to be honest, it didn't work well at all. Game 8 was alright, we landed back at Dirty Docks and unfortunately got pressured by another team. Apex was lagging really hard and wasn't talking at all here, so it was just hiding in a corner, so the rest of our team was just sort of split up and died individually. Game 9 we needed to secure eliminations as well as get good placement, so we went over to the Shark. We weren't contested off spawn, but we were able to get a pretty free rotation into the next zone. However, while we were in a truck, Apex randomly just jumped out and started boxing up even though we were just being pressured by another team. And we were actually getting sniped at as I re-edited the wall, so it was lucky I re-edited that, otherwise he would have been sniped. But I'm not sure why this happened, and then he came back and we were okay and going in the truck again. It was very random and very weird. We then realised that we didn't have enough time to get another full game in. We needed to get this game finished as quick as possible and then get into our next game. So we had to push a team, and unfortunately Apex overcommitted very early without the rest of his team there. So died very quickly, which made me make a really rash decision and jump in a box with someone that I didn't even hit once and died to as well. Damn right then ran away and tried to get some placement points before just YOLOing it and sort of attacking them as best he could. Didn't get any eliminations, but that allowed us to then get into the next game for our last match. Our last match was unfortunately absolutely shambles. We went over to Sweaty Sands and were able to get one of our teammates out alive. The rest all died, so Damn Right was just the only one that was alive, and I was just coaching him, trying to get him as many placement points as possible. I told him to go up the road up here to the right to keep going, but instead he got distracted by the chugs. I told him not to go for them, so he went to them anyway, and then went to the chest, which then caused him to die, because even though I instructed him not to do so, he went there regardless and got ambushed by a team hiding in the rafters. That was my FNCS experience. I'm not sure how I've disobeyed any rules or any of my teammates have disobeyed any rules to therefore warrant a disqualification, but if you see something that I didn't, please leave it in the comments. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. So that's the video, guys. Peace.